We're now going to look at using parentheses or brackets to force the order of calculations. I'm just going to open a new document, and we're going for a blank workbook in this case and create it. And I'm going to enter in a formula, and in this case it is equals 3 times 9 minus 4. Now if I just press enter, it gives me an answer of 23. Now this means that the Excel program is actually ordering how the actual formula has been done, and in this case it is actually saying that I want to multiply 3 by 9, which equals 27, and then I want to take 4 off that. Now, to ensure that this works properly, to actually write this formula in correctly, you would actually write it in this way. So we put in equal signs, we use a left parenthesis, and then we do 3 times 9, and we close off the parenthesis, and then I put in minus 4. And now press the enter key, and you'll see that that will give us the answer of 23. Could also force the actual formula in another way, and we could decide that we actually want the formula to work in this manner. So it's actually 3 times 9 minus 4. So in this case we'd actually enter in 3 times, and then we'd open our brackets, 9 minus 4, and close our brackets, and then we're actually going to press enter, and you'll see that the actual answer is different. So dependent on how you actually want your formula to work, when you're using complex formulas you must use parentheses, because if you don't you may not get the correct answer. I'm now going to close this workbook down. I don't actually want to save it this time, so I'm just going to close it, and I'm going to press no to say that I don't require it. We're now going to look at some common functions, and these include average function, columns functions, count functions, max function, minimum function, round function, and sum function. Now I'm just going to have a look at, to start with, the sum function. So we're going to open our folder that contains our programs we've already got in our L1 spreadsheets folder, and in this case I'm going to open up my sum function. I click on that and open it, and we've got here some data, and I need to click on cell number 13D. Okay, now we're actually going to use a formula to add up a range of cell numbers, and in this case we're actually going to use our formulas bar. So if I click on the formulas bar here, and we're going to use auto sum. Now I'm going to click on auto sum, and this will give us a sum range. So we've clicked on auto sum, and I'm going to choose sum here, and you'll notice that I've now got a set of marching ants around our cells from D4 through to D12, and you'll notice that we now have a formula that says equals sum brackets D4 through to D12 close brackets, and if I press enter, that will now give us the answer of 153. I'm now going to click back on our D13 number, and if you now look in the formula bar at the top, it actually shows us the syntax, or the full sum function. So we've got equals sum bracket D4 through to D12 close brackets, and that is our actual formula that gives us the answer of 153. I'm now going to save this formula and spreadsheet, click on save, and then do Control and F4 to close it. We're now going to look at average function. I'm going to open a workbook called Average Function. So I go to Office button, open, and choose Average Function from my L1 Spreadsheets folder. And in this case, we're going to click on D13 again, which is now highlighted, and we'll go up to our Formulas tab and click on Auto Sum. Now in this case, I actually want to choose the average area from the sum. So I click on Average, and what it does, it will actually work out the average between D4 through to D12, and it'll work out the average value. If I now press the Enter key, it will give us the answer. And you'll notice that the answer, the average of the answer is 17. If I click back on that, and you will see that the syntax is actually up in the top here. I'm now going to save this and close. And Control F4 to close it. The next thing we're going to look at is something called the round function. So I'm going to open a spreadsheet from my folder, and I'm going to look for a spreadsheet called round function, and I'm going to open that. And I'm going to click on the cell C4. And as you can see, this says income per family member at 364.666667, and we need to round that up. First thing that we've done is we've actually deleted our answer, and now what we're going to do is find the actual rounded function. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Insert Function, and I'm going to have a look first of all in our most recently used and see if it's there. Right, it isn't there. So if it isn't in the most recently used category, we go to All, and then we scroll down until we find our round function. So click on that, and then we accept that by clicking OK. This will now bring up our function's argument. So in this case, to round up, we actually need to enter a formula of C2 divided by C3, and in the number of digits we're going to put in a 0. And if you'll notice, it will actually change our original answer that we had in the cell C4 to a rounded up function answer of 365. So I'm going to accept that by clicking on OK. I'm now going to save that function and spreadsheet and click CF4 to close it.